Hey there weavers, welcome back. This is Grace with Tangled Webs Weaving. And it's been a while since I've posted a video of me weaving, and I thought I would give you a little update on my latest project. So this is a project that I started a long time ago and has been a long time in the planning, because when I spun the yarn, I didn't really have a project for it. I had picked up what is called maybe arm knitting yarn or ball roving. It's a very thick roving that is sold at craft stores, and it's for knitting. It's really bulky. It's very loosely twisted roving that is used for what they call arm knitting. And I'll post a link to arm knitting in the description below so you understand what that is. But I had picked up some of this arm knitting roving at Michael's, I think, on clearance for like $5 for I think it said it was 50 yards of it, but it's really thick. So I untwisted it, and it was just acrylic. It's just cheap. I wanted to practice spinning and doing some different techniques. So I untwisted it, drafted it out, spun it up into a 3-ply chain ply, and this is what I got. So you can see there's lots of color variations, and I use the chain plying to keep the colors together, so that you get a variegated yarn. So when you put it onto the bobbin, this is part of it, and then you can see that graduates into the different colors. So for this project, I decided to do a throw, and I bought some just inexpensive acrylic yarn off the internet, and in a worsted weight, which was about the same weight that I had gotten the spin at. And I used black because I wanted these colors to pop. Now for the pattern, I used the Strickler draft number 149. Now if you have Carol Strickler's book, it's a book of 8 shaft drafts. And it's a wonderful book, but a lot of the times you can't really see very clearly what the pattern is going to be, because most of the color, or most of the pictures, are black and white. This particular draft in the book is a white on white, so I could see the texture of it, but I knew that I wanted these colors to pop. So black is a really good weft or warp to use for that if you have a bright color that you want to pop out. So I put the black warp on. I originally warped it at 12 ends per inch, but when I started slaying it, I realized that was way too dense. So I opened it up, and especially since this is acrylic, it's not going to shrink. So I opened it up to 10 ends per inch, and I think I'm beating about 10 picks per inch. I'm not really keeping track of it, but it's coming up with a good set. Because it's acrylic, it's stretchy, it will kind of compress a little bit when it gets off the loom. But I thought I would just let you watch me do a little weaving, and then hopefully we'll finish this one up. I've got about 2/3 of it done. It's going to be, I'm getting a fair amount of draw-in, but that's okay. It was a lot wider than I originally planned. So with the draw-in, it's about 42 inches wide. I will end up making it about 60 inches long, and that will make a nice lap blanket for the couch. And maybe I can even take it to my chemo appointments and keep me warm. So we're going to go ahead and start weaving. So you can see that it goes pretty fast. And I need to change my bobbin again. Now, when I wind these bobbins from the skein, I have to be sure to keep them in the correct order from the skein so that the color repeats line up. So that is one of the things that you have to kind of keep track of. All right. And because this is a fairly heavy yarn, it's a worsted weight, I am splitting the tails. So we'll just put the first one in the shed. Throw that. Overlap them a couple inches. And because it's a 3-ply, I'll take 2 plies out of one and 1 ply out of the other and overlap them. If they seem to be kind of thinner plies, then I'll do 2 and 2, but I'll just kind of see how it looks. There, take 2 of those plies, feed them back through, and I'll take one of these plies. There we go. All right. I'll go ahead and feed that in. There. There. Now we can continue on. So 6, right? Yep. 5. Got going on here? Well, this is interesting. It looks like I've got some pigtailing going on here that I will have to fix once it's off the loom. Huh, I didn't notice that. All right, well. 3. Yeah, I guess that's right. All right. We are getting there. All right, looks like we've got about 10 more inches to do, and then we can put the header in and figure out what we're going to do with the rest of the warp. right, so I am at the end of my last bobbin, so I'm going to have to wind some more bobbins and then come back. Okay, weavers, so we are back with our new bobbins wound, and as I mentioned, the colors run in a certain order. And so when I change bobbins, I want to be as close to what the end is as possible. So this is a little bit darker pink. I might roll it back. I think we're kind of down here in this area. And as I roll that, the correct purple will come into play. But this is, I keep track of the numbers on the bobbin so that I can keep them in order, and I don't have to try and figure out which one I should be using next. All right, so we're going to go ahead and weave this one in. I believe this okay, that's 5, yes. And then, so this needs to be 4, and I need to tighten my, there we go. Oh, that's better. All right. So 4 is the next pick. We'll just feed this tail through manually. This tight. So I think I'm going to run it out to there and overlap that amount. Perfect. So it appears that this next skein of yarn that I spun is a little bit thicker and has a little, looks like it has a little more twist in it than what I originally have. So we'll see how it looks. I've only got another, I don't know, yeah, I'm almost done here. So ending this blanket on at this point is actually probably pretty fortuitous, so that I can start in with the new one. All right, so because again these are thicker, I do split my tails. This one. There. So that is the last pick that I'm going to do for this throw. So it looks like I've got probably about 62 inches, which once it kind of compresses off the loom, it will be shorter. So we're going to do a 10 pick plain weave for the hem. That's what I had started with. So we will just do a plain weave for 10 picks. There. Well, that came up solid. Okay. That is the end of my first throw. So I think what I'm going to do, oh, I have a skip right there I'll have to fix. I think what I'm going to do is I'll leave about 10 inches of warp here for my fringe on this one and the fringe on the next one, if I do fringe. And so then I'm going to change the tie-up so that I can weave 3 different threading, or 3 different treadlings to make a different pattern out of this same threading. So this is kind of a broken M and O, I think. And so there are some alternate treadlings that I can do to kind of make a different pattern. So that's what we'll do. I'll fix this little skip right here, and then we will advance the warp. Okay, we are back with our final product. This is the throw that we wove, and you can see that the pattern really shows up on the black weft, or the black warp. It turned out to be a little bit shorter than what I had anticipated, since I was measuring it on the loom under tension. So my 60 inches ended up being 54 inches, but I have a 3-inch fringe on either end, and you can see that I did a twisted fringe. And so that's a little 3-inch fringe. So my 50 inches ends up being 56 inches, and it's 42 inches wide. So I'm pretty happy with those dimensions. And I have some more of the Handspun acrylic variegated yarn that maybe I'll make a scarf with. We'll see. Or maybe I will knit something with it. Anyways, I'm really happy with how this turned out. And if you would like to purchase this blanket, this throw, you can go to my Etsy shop and purchase it there. I will leave a link to my Etsy shop down in the description. I really enjoyed making this for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed watching the videos. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks and happy weaving!